Titans are discussing with the Nashville authorities and city mayor's office, administrators, about not just renovating their current stadium, building a brand new stadium. And it's my understanding the idea was if they do that, the footprint of the new stadium would be somewhere very close, like right next to Nissan Stadium within that property. And so they would play, hypothetically, in the old stadium while the new stadium is being built right next door.
Down. So it would create a parking fiasco for the time it takes.
There's a lot of people asking about
building.
parking and what's going to happen. The parking lots are going away. I mean, for a majority of it. I mean, if they're going to use, if they have all that property, and they can find ways to make money off some of those lots, that parking's going to be reduced. There's going to be mixed-use facilities, bars, restaurants,
they're
condos,
expecting that
hotels.
to extend up and down the river, not necessarily to take away the parking lots.
I am telling you, those condos and bars and restaurants will need parking too, year-round, not just for 8 Sundays. So the parking... I say that to say parking will be reduced in some way.
Well, or
all the lots that are there now are not going to be there.
It'll be super reduced during a building if they're not imploding it and building it on the same spot. The
flat land will be reduced. The renderings that we saw a year and a half ago include massive garages. So like all of that was in these renderings that some of us have seen, I guess. I don't know if it's public knowledge. But I don't even know if what they're doing on those renderings has made it past like, okay, we're going to keep this, and now we're considering a new stadium, or if the new stadium completely wipes out all of the previous talk.
I would say those renderings are null and void at this point because clearly they got into this and decided, boy, the renovation that we really wanted is way too expensive, and we could just double that and have a brand new stadium and all this nice stuff around it. So let's do that.
So the number there,
whatever plan is out there now is probably completely different than whatever the rendering was.
There were two separate plans. There was one for what they want to do with Nissan Stadium and options for upper deck and all kinds of things. And then there was an option for what they wanted to do in the meantime, which was renovate if you're looking at the stadium from the city, the right side and all the property on the right side was going to be completely revamped from the pedestrian bridge connecting to the stadium. And that would be there would be an amphitheater, there would be shops and stores, more or less what 5th and Broadway is.
Right. So the number that Nate Rao from Axios reported there was that the renovation was initially going to be $600 million, and that it doubled. So if you're going to pay $1.2 billion for a renovation, the thinking is you might as well build a new stadium. They don't have a price there. They didn't talk roof or retractable or open. All of that stuff is unknown. I don't know. Is there room behind Nissan Stadium if you built it right up almost against Nissan Stadium, say, where the pro shop is, that side of the stadium, to the motel in that parking lot? Is that wide enough to put a stadium? Because that, to me, is where the stadium would have to go if you were building it in the footprint that's over there without knocking down Nissan Stadium. And I'm not sure that's wide enough for a new age stadium that's going to have a significant footprint. To me, if that's not wide enough, you probably couldn't do it unless you're knocking down some stuff and really moving it. And honestly, it's in an ideal spot. So now you would, and the spot I'm talking about would really be ideal because then you'd have equal space on both sides of it. Part of the ingress and egress problem of Nissan Stadium itself is that it's tight to the river and people never went to the side that's tight on the river to go in. And you'd have more on both the east and west sides of the stadium. But do you think there's enough space from the east side of the stadium to the interstate, say?
I don't know. Maybe. I'll say this about the current stadium also, and some people will celebrate this, some will bemoan it. It's one of the last relics of old Nashville. When you look around downtown Nashville, there are very few things that look like Nissan Stadium. That is very much a 1990s version of Nashville. And look at 5th and Broadway, even look at the arena that was built in the late 90s, and look around it. There are very few places that remind you of old school Nashville other than the lights on Broadway, but every single one of those bars on Broadway are very different than they were during old Nashville also, and this would just be another step of Nashville becoming brand new. Again, locals probably hate some of that, but people coming in town love it.